Dear brothers and sisters of planet Earth, my name is Dr. Glenn T. Martin. I'm president of the World Constitution and Parliament Association, and I would like to talk with you today about 5 steps that the world needs to take if we want to create a decent future on this planet. There's been much talk about where the world should be going after the global pandemic that we are now facing everywhere on Earth. People have proposed modifications of the global economic order, right? They've proposed modifications of the UN system. They've even proposed greater peace and disarmament among the nations, saying the nations need to work together to create a global health system and so on. Right? None of these things will solve our fundamental problems on this planet. None of them will give us a future. And you, all of you young people, are being betrayed. You're being betrayed. As Albert Camus declared, you're being cut off from the future. You're being cut off from having any future at all, rapidly so. The coronavirus pandemic has made us realize that we are all vulnerable worldwide. The pandemic has made us realize that the global institutions that now govern our planet are anachronisms, historical anachronisms that are just outdated. They cannot deal with a global planetary situation as we now experience it. And we know that the super rich of the planet, right, the super rich people, the big corporations, the bankers, and so on, they're in control of the whole of the planet. Right? They're operating the planet for the benefit of the few, not for the benefit of all of us, and certainly not for the benefit of the future of humanity. When are we going to give up this absurd economic system, this criminal economic system that we now have in the world? But the same kind of thing operates with sovereign militarized nation states. Right? The world is a collection of some 193 mostly militarized sovereign states, all claiming inviolable borders, all worried about defending themselves, having military, warring against one another, invading one another, shipping weapons and arms around the planet, as if the planet were a grand chessboard in which they struggle for power and ascendancy and dominance. We even know that the coronavirus may be the result of one of their bioterror labs, right? A bioterror lab in China or Russia or Canada or the United States that happen to release one of these terrible weapons that they're working on, right? But the point is not whether or not this is the case with the coronavirus. The point is that this system is a criminal system. Right? They have no right to do this. They have no justification for doing this. We need to unite the planet to get rid of this absurd political system called sovereign nation states that recognize no enforceable law above themselves. Right? So there are 5 steps, 5, that need to be taken if we want a decent and credible future on this planet. Let's examine these 5 steps. First, we need to internalize holism. The new paradigm, the new scientific understanding of the universe that has come about in the last 100 or more years, from the time of Einstein to the present, is holistic. It's not fragmented. Holism says that the entire universe is integrated inextricably. Right? Everything integrated together, everything interfacing with everything else, everything interacting and influencing everything else. There's a holistic system in the world, and our present economic system is fragmented. It's atoms struggling, atomistic corporations, atomistic individuals struggling for wealth and power. Not holistic, right? And our current militarized nation state system is fragmented. It's not holistic. All these nations with absolute boundaries struggling against each other for wealth and power and autonomy and independence and so on. It's absurd. right? So the first thing we have to do is think holistically. And the Constitution for the Federation of Earth, written by hundreds of world citizens working together over a period of 23 years from 1968 to 1991, is based on the principle of unity in diversity, holism of everybody, all the nations holistically integrated, all the people as individuals holistically integrated, all cultures, all corners of the earth, everything represented by the Constitution for the Federation of Earth. So step one says we should be thinking in terms of uniting humanity under the principle of unity and diversity within this Constitution. Okay, step two, we need environmental economics. Right? We need to convert this planetary economy to one which is in conformity with the limited biosphere that supports all life on Earth. And that limited biosphere, the ecology of the planet, is something that cannot support unlimited growth, which is the fundamental principle of the world economic system that we have known for several centuries. It has to grow in order to survive. It has the mantra of growth, gross domestic product, and so on in every nation. This is absurd because it does not conform to the limited finite parameters of our planetary ecosystem. We need sustainable economics. And there are excellent books out there on this. Herman E. Daly wrote an excellent book called Beyond Growth. Kate Raworth wrote an excellent book called Donut Economics. These show us how we can create prosperity for all of us sustainably without this mantra of growth, without destroying the planetary environment that supports us all. The Earth Constitution institutionalizes sustainable economics into its very structure, right? Into the Earth, the world financial system, the world banking system, the world monetary system created by this, and the various parameters that in many articles that all integrate together for sustainability give us a global economics for sustainability. We need to ratify the Earth Constitution. So the third principle, the third step, we need to institutionalize planetary climate science. Climate science understands the scientists, the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Science, thousands of scientists from around the world, they need to be put in a position where they can have the authority to monitor and regulate and make sure that all the activities going on Earth integrate with the planetary biosystem so that it does not destroy that biosystem. It restores it, it strengthens it, it makes it a healthy and living Gaia principle. How do we do that? How do we put people who know who know how the planet works there in positions where they can monitor things and regulate things and advise the World Parliament on how to make laws that properly give us a sustainable world system? Again, it's institutionalized here in the Constitution for the Federation of Earth. Article 8 gives us several agencies whose explicit job is to take the experts, to take the climate scientists, to take the people who know and put them in these agencies to monitor and regulate and advise the World Parliament on the best kind of regulations and laws that are necessary to keep our planet healthy and happy place for human life. Okay, so there's the third thing that we must do, and the Earth Constitution does that third thing. The fourth thing that we must do is promote spiritual and moral growth. Right now, the current systems in the world, the global economic system, the global political system, frustrate They interfere with human moral and spiritual growth, because moral growth is growth beyond childish egoism. And these systems promote egoism. Right? They think of the current president of the United States, an egoist, right? Thinking only in terms of himself and in his political future and so on. This is absolutely unacceptable if we want a decent world order. We must have mature people who are leaders, and we must have mature people who are voters around the world who can promote spiritual and moral growth, growth beyond egoism, growth beyond ethnocentrism, right? Ethnocentrism meaning my religion is better, my ideology is better, my nation is better, right? My race is somehow better, right? Ethnocentrism is, again, an immature condition, spiritual condition. Moral growth means world centric people. People, like Karl Marx said, we need to be thinking in terms of our species being, our common human being. Right? Like Irvin Laszlo said, we need to be thinking as planetary citizens and develop a planetary consciousness. If we really want a future on this planet, we must cultivate love and concern and compassion and universality, all of these things which embrace maturity and spiritual development. And the Constitution for the Federation of Earth is a key document for making this happen. Right? It's a key document because when we promote it, when we talk about it with people, when we spread the idea, we are helping people to think holistically and globally. Right? It's a global document. It says we're one people on this planet. We're one civilization, and we should be united and organized democratically to make that civilization work on this planet. And then once it's ratified, again, everybody on the earth will know they have a vote. As a world citizen, they have a vote on the future of the planet. They are participating in democratically governing our planet. And this itself will promote their moral and spiritual development to becoming world citizens, planetary thinkers with a planetary consciousness. So there's step 4. Right? There's the fourth step that we must take: promote spiritual and intellectual and moral growth. But there's one more. There's one more step that we must take. We must give our planet a brain. Right now, our planet has developed. Life forms have developed over 4.6 billion years of its existence. Life itself has evolved in 3.8 billion years on this planet through the era of plants, through the era of animals, and now to the era of human beings. And just the past couple of million years, human beings have colonized this planet. And all of this is the development of mind, right? Human beings have minds, and with our minds, we build things. We build shopping centers and roads and boats and airline systems, and we write books, and we put our information onto the web and onto the internet and the airways and so on. All of this mind is now circulating the globe, often called the noosphere, right? Circulating the globe, and yet it has no brain. It's just a chaos of ideas, a chaos of propaganda coming from the nations, a chaos of propaganda coming from the corporations. It has no center. Human beings have not yet realized that we need to be thinking together in some way. We need a location, a place where we can be talking together and talking about our future and planning for the future. And that place is not, I think it's clearly understood, that place cannot be the United Nations, right? The United Nations is a collection of sovereign nations under a charter which protects that sovereignty. It's not a government. We just saw the recent sad example of the Secretary General of the United Nations begging the nations of the world to stop their wars so that we can deal with the coronavirus. begging the nations. The UN has no power to stop all these wars going on around the world. The Secretary General says, please stop. This is not what we need on this planet. Please stop the wars. We need an institutionalization of peace. We need institutions which prevent those wars because those wars are illegal and immoral. And the arms industry and the weapons industry must disappear. Right? The Constitution gives us that brain. It gives us that authority. It integrates the valuable agencies of the UN into the Earth Federation. The World Health Organization becomes part of it, and so on, so that they can really do their job, right? But it gives the people of Earth a mechanism for creating a world parliament, some 1,500 people representing all the nations, all the people on Earth, all the cultures, everyone up there represented in this world parliament, which now is able to allow human beings to talk together, to think together, and to act in an authoritative way through democratically legislated world laws, act in an authoritative way to plan and govern and create a decent future for everybody on the planet. Right? That's step 5. These 5 steps are necessary, and they're all there together, integrated in a beautiful way in the Constitution for the Federation of Earth. Love it, promote it, think about it, act on it. It is our future, right? It is our only credible future on this planet. Thank you.